Hi everyone, my name's Adam Roberts. I'm one of our account managers here at Pulsion, and welcome to today's AI webinar hosted by Pulsion Technology. Our panelists today include John McGuire, Pulsion's Managing Director. John has over 35 years experience in business process re-engineering using software systems and is responsible for the successful delivery of several hundred solutions. With a degree in computer science and a keen interest in software development and AI, he is passionate about improving how digital solutions are developed and how AI can support. As well as heading up Pulsion, he is currently working on Recommend, a product to improve the specification of software systems using AI. I'd also like to introduce you to John McGuire Jr. John McGuire has a degree in artificial intelligence and maths. At Pulsion, John works in both front-end web development and machine learning on a range of AI projects, especially with GPT and on Recommend. John is our resident AI expert and will bring his academic learning as well as his practical experience to the discussion on how AI is being used in software development. And finally, we're delighted to welcome our guest presenter, Elizabeth Jarvis, Managing Director at OneSearch Direct. A Pulsion client for over 20 years, having already implemented AI in their business, Liz will discuss her AI journey and the benefits that AI is bringing to OneSearch. At the end of our webinar, we'll have an opportunity for questions, so please feel free to pop a question into the question box as we go, or wait until the end and I'll pose your question to our panelists. As a quick note, we'll be in touch post-webinar to get your feedback on the session and discuss how Pulsion and our AI expertise could help support business growth. Okay, let's kick off our session as we've got a lot to cover over the next 30 minutes. Let's begin by discussing how AI has evolved in the last 5 years.
Hi, yeah, so just to say how I think AI has evolved in the last 5 years, I'd probably begin by saying there's two major areas where I've seen major evolution. One has been deep learning and the other has been reinforcement learning. So deep learning is a kind of a transformative advancement in the field, and it uses algorithms called artificial neural networks, which are kind of loosely based on how the human brain works. So it's a kind of set of interconnected nodes with connections that learn over time when past training data. And some of the massive applications you might have seen of this is in natural language processing, which you might have seen in smart assistants like Alexa and Siri and things like this, but also things like image recognition for disease diagnosis and things like healthcare. So there's already massive applications in deep learning that are in use. For reinforcement learning, this is a type of machine learning which trains AI software to act in very complex environments. So the AI is rewarded or punished for actions it will take in the environment, and the behavior over time tries to become more optimal for whatever environment or task we've kind of given it. So it's kind of became the standard, you might have noticed, for games like chess, Go, poker, for AI to kind of reproducibly beat humans time and time again. And a lot of that's been down to progress in reinforcement learning. I'd say, though, probably the most exciting advancements over the last 5 years have been in the kind of combination of these two technologies. So deep reinforcement learning is a subfield which has emerged, which has given really, really powerful results. The deep learning side of things is used to understand the complex environments we might be dealing with, whether that's in business or any kind of application that we're using. Reinforcement learning is then used to act in these environments more optimally than we could otherwise. And this technology is really given birth to some powerful applications like, for example, GPT and the ChatGPT model, which were released by OpenAI. And this uses deep learning to understand vast amounts of data from the internet, but also uses reinforcement learning to optimize based on human feedback for conversation. So it's definitely an exciting time, and there's lots of big advancements being made.
And how are organizations leveraging the power of AI to improve business processes?
So I think what you're seeing here is that there's basically unprecedented interest in AI. I mean, you only need to switch on the news to see artificial intelligence being mentioned more and more often. Businesses are now looking to maybe play catch up or to keep an eye on what competitors are doing by exploring artificial intelligence. But the thing is, it's not new. I mean, a lot of big companies have been using it for quite a long time, and small companies. So you'll see if you go onto Facebook, the ads you get are personalised for you. You know, so they're trying to increase the sales by pushing adverts of the people placing ads. You'll see things like LinkedIn, things like Amazon, etc. are using these things called recommendation engines to basically personalise content for you to make you more engaged. You know, if you drove your car into work this morning, if you're out and about, then you might have passed by a speeding camera that would do automatic number plate recognition. Yet again, it's using image processing, you know, another kind of subfield of AI and machine learning. The thing at the minute is though that I think Accenture did a survey that said only 12% of organisations are actually using AI at a maturity level that achieves a competitive advantage for them. So you're seeing the opportunity there is huge, and probably, you know, obviously a lot of the reason that people would be along to this webinar is due to ChatGPT and this thing called large language models that John kind of pointed out there, how they work. So large language models and ChatGPT basically allow AI to do things that are perhaps a bit more human-like, perhaps a bit more reasoning. And the reason that this is really of interest to business, and certainly in business processing, is business is about language, business is about information, business is about communication. So you're seeing a lot of use cases in business processes and things like chatbots, things like customer service, things like technical support, where it can perhaps answer questions that would traditionally be answered by humans. And we'll show you one of those customer service examples there. Also, you're seeing it used in content generation and document production. So you're seeing people actually begin to write documents using this generative. The GPT is generative pre-trained transformer. A transformer is a type of AI model. So you're seeing it being used to generate things, to create text, basically here. And you're also seeing it used in things like translation, which will show a bit of in the demo as well. But we have to remember also that ChatGPT and in general GPT type models are only one area of AI. There's a lot of different areas of AI. So there's too many use cases in business processes to cover here, but people are really looking at it pretty seriously now.
Thanks very much for your insight. It's really interesting to hear how organizations are reaping the rewards of deploying this technology. We'll now move on to a demonstration to show you how Pulsion is using GPT to help streamline a customer service function. Over to you, John.
Okay, so let me share my screen. So I'm assuming this screen is shared now. Can everybody see that?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, so what we have here is a GPT demo, an email generation demo. So what it's supposed to model here is a typical process within a company. So the company we're kind of modeling here is a company that has customer service people. They receive emails asking where an order is, you know, where's my order? Could I chase up my order? So this could be a company sending out products, creating things, etc. Generally, what would happen here is a human would read the email. A human would then probably go to some sort of order management system. They would then manually look that up within the system. They'd get a status update of where the order was, and then write a response email. So what we're going to show here is we're showing that that process with AI effectively sitting in the middle here. So what the AI will do is the AI will read the email, the AI will get the order. We have integrated this into a small back-end database to fetch the order and to fetch the date when the order is due. But this is all dummy data here. And then what we're using is we're interfacing to a GPT model to actually create what should look like a human-like response to an email. So what we'll do here is I'm going to click on Get Next Email on this demo. If you can see, there's an input email on the left-hand side and there's a response email on the right-hand side. So I've now brought up an input email, and there's an email from somebody called Steve that says, "Dear Sir, Madam, I was wondering when I could expect to hear about my order." Got the order number in there. I've been waiting a while for this. So perfectly standard email. What we're doing is we're then generating a response here. What you'll find if you use the GPT interfaces, the application programmer interfaces here, is that they can take a while to respond. ChatGPT is doing an awful lot of processing here. So it's now generated an email, and what it's saying is, "Dear Steve, thank you for your email regarding your order. I apologise for the delay in responding to your query. We should have delivered your order by 28th of April 23. However, due to some unforeseen circumstances, we have been able to do so." So it recognises that the order is actually late when it's looked up the database. We're currently working hard to ensure your order is fulfilled as soon as possible. We will keep you updated in the progress of your order. Thanks for your patience and understanding. So that has mostly been generated by the GPT model, with us prompting the GPT model using the data that we have from our internal ordering system. It's generated a response there, and I could now send that response. One thing I should mention about this demo is you'll notice that it has an input email and a response email. That's because we would always like to have a human sitting in the middle here to just check the responses. With any new technology, with anything training, you want to just make sure that the response, until you have the confidence in the system, you want to make sure that you're actually getting the right response. So that's one type of email that was shown you. Let's take another email there. "Dear Sir, Madam, I was wondering when I could expect to hear about my order. I've been waiting a while for this, and I am becoming quite frustrated. I will be submitting a formal complaint." So this is an angry customer, you know, their order. So we're basically seeing how we can respond to that. We don't want to just respond to an angry customer, perhaps in the same way as a customer who is more accepting. So the response to the email here is then, "Thank you for your email. We apologise for the delay in responding to your inquiry. In order to assist with you with your order, we need your order number." So you may have noticed in the first email that no order number was provided. So the system has recognised that we couldn't retrieve an order, and we're now asking, could you please follow up with this information so we can look into this further. Let me show you another example, because it can answer lots of different examples. "I was wondering when I could expect to hear about my order," and it's given an order number. "I have been waiting a while for this, and I'm becoming quite frustrated." Again, somebody who's angry wants to submit a formal complaint. Within the response that we generate, what we have recognised here is that order number that was given is an order number, but it's an invalid order number. So we're saying, "Dear Michael, thank you for your email. We apologise for the delay in responding to your inquiry. However, we regret to inform you that the order number you provided is invalid." So it's not saying the order number is missing. It's not saying the order number is valid. It's saying it's an invalid order number. Yet again, it will prompt and say, "Please provide us with the correct order number so we can look into this further." So these are kind of standard replies, but you want to make your interaction more human-like. You want more engaging for people who are receiving the response. So in this next email, we're purposely, given different examples here. So, "Dear Sir, Madam, I was wondering if I could get an update on my order." We've given a valid order number there. "I was just wondering when I could expect to receive this. However, up to this point, I would like to comment on the exemplary service we have received from your company." So somebody's given us a bit of a compliment there, and we want to see how these responses come back. So we're going to look up their order, and then we're going to generate a response for them. And what you should see here is that yet again, it produces a very human-like response. So, dear Harry, thank you for your kind words about our service. We are pleased to hear that you have been satisfied with our services. Regarding your order, we're doing our best to ensure, and it responds regarding the order here. Next email, just to show you some of the quite interesting things that we've found out as we use this technology. So yet again, somebody has sent in an email saying, I was wondering if I could get an update on my order with the order number. I was just wondering when I could expect to receive this. And then at the end, the last sentence there, they've said, I'd like to wish you a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Obviously, it's just a made up example here, but what we're trying to show, if you look at the generated response, then what you'll see is that ChatGPT or GPT interface will get back to say, thank you for your email. We're pleased to inform you that your order is due for delivery by a particular date. We hope you have a wonderful Christmas and a Happy New Year. Yet again, it recognises that the input email has basically said, have a Merry Christmas, and it's acknowledged that and generated an adequate response, which yet again makes it more engaging to the user. What we're doing is this next one, and I'm not going to embarrass myself by reading out the next email, but the next email, if people can see this, is in Italian. So this is an Italian email coming in. So customer service email, I think how we handled this is we basically got somebody in the office who knows Italian to write this email, and we saw what response we will generate. So we look up the order, and then we come back with a response. And what you'll see, if you can see that on the screen, this response is also in Italian. And indeed, I think the last line there is also wishing the person a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year in Italian. And finally, just to prove that it can do, some quite amazing things, this is a Chinese email asking the same question again. So we generate a response here, and we can see that we can look up the order, we can extract the order, we can look up the order, and then we can generate a response going back here. So what you should see is it generates a response. You'll see in there that we have the order and we have the data in there for a Chinese response. So that is effectively the demonstration. We'd love to show you more demos of these types of things, but we only have half an hour in our presentation, and we just want to give you a flavour of how you can integrate those types of models into a business process so that you can effectively streamline things. So we reckon with this type of technology that these responses would probably be generated automatically in the background, and a customer service person would perhaps be able to, on a regular basis, go in, read all the emails, and look at the responses and basically approve those responses to be sent back to the end users. So I think that's effectively the GPT demo. So I'll stop sharing my screen and go back to Adam.
Thanks, John, for walking us through that. I hope that's given everyone a snapshot of how organizations can use AI and GPT to improve business processes. I'd now like to welcome Liz Jarvis, Managing Director at OneSearch Direct, to talk us through their AI journey. Hi there, Liz.
Hi there, Adam.
If you could start off by just telling us a little bit about your business.
Of course. So OneSearch Direct is a firm, it's 25 years we've been in business, supplying reports relating to property that are used by the legal community when people are transacting property and land. So it's important that the reports are accurate because they're used in the legal process of transferring property ownership.
And what prompted you to look at how AI could help streamline a manual business process?
Well, one of the things for us is that there was quite a labour-intensive part of our process where people actually had to either visit a local authority to gather data, or they had to go onto that local authority's website and gather it. It's open, publicly available information, but it was quite laborious getting it and the information and then transcribing it. And also it was a pretty monotonous task, to be honest, and with difficulty keeping people in that role. So that was that was the first challenge that brought us to speak to Pulsion about it. And Pulsion, because they'd already carried out some work for another customer, were able to say to us, look, we've got something that we think can help out here, because that's the way the relationship with OneSearch and Pulsion has always been over the years, that when something new was identified, then John was always happy to introduce it and just see if it was something that we could benefit from. And in this instance, because of their experience, it was.
Were there any other ways that Pulsion helped guiding you through that the process and the project?
I think because Pulsion they delve really deep into what we are doing. They understand our business and the challenges that we have, because obviously we've got commercial challenges. It's a very competitive market that OneSearch is in, and we're under constant price pressure, and John and his team understand that. But we have people who are who work on our account, I guess, for want of a better word, pretty constantly, so they understand our business really well. So they were able to guide us on where we could best implement this technology for us.
What have been the key benefits of implementing AI for OneSearch?
Well, it definitely did help us cost-wise, because it meant that we were able to move people onto other roles within the business, because it automatically did tasks. So what we had what we'd employed AI to do was to, in the first instance, there are definitely broader ways in which we can employ it, but in the first instance, we had it running a task overnight while no one was working, so that when people come into work in the morning, that task of retrieving key information for the legal report was already there, so the task had been done. So that was one of the first benefits. It really cut down on the time to perform the search. It allowed us to cut costs and also to go over an issue which was a pretty monotonous task that people didn't enjoy doing.
And what would be your top 3 key learnings or advice that you would give another organisation considering implementing AI to help streamline their business processes?
I think the first one, Adam, would be that it can be done in conjunction with staff. You know, you can roll this out and have people's buy-in to it, because it can help them. It can help the employees. It shouldn't be seen as necessarily a way of eradicating people from doing something. You can employ your people in doing tasks and functions within the workplace that are more meaningful and are better suited to humans. So we kept people much happier. So you can definitely bring people on that journey with you. It doesn't need to be frightening for them. And I would also say that there's no task too big. Sometimes when we look at what we do, we think, oh, this is very complicated. There's no way we can actually employ AI in here. But by sitting down and we had the conversation with Pulsion, we broke certain tasks down into smaller bite-sized chunks where we were able to say, okay, well, we can utilise it here. You don't have to look at it in the whole, really. And also, I think, lastly, that it can be employed much more widely than you initially think. By the time you start on the journey, you begin to see other ways in which you can do it. So for us, it feels like it was just a start, really, where we can do it much more widely. But our staff are very much on board because they've seen the benefit, and their accountants happy too, of course.
Many thanks, Liz. That was really interesting. Thanks for taking us through your AI journey.
It's a pleasure.
We'll now start our Q&A. We've had a few questions already, but if you have any more, please do pop them into the question box. We'll try and answer them. We've only got around 5 minutes left, so we may not be able to answer all of them. But if we begin with the first question, are there certain prompts we should be using to prime GPT prior to submitting our request, for example, in B2B outreach?
So I'll take that one. I think in terms of priming and in terms of prompts, I mean, there's something called prompt engineering, which is a thing that has kind of come out from GPT type models. The priming the models, it's kind of unsure as to whether priming them makes a difference or whether it's down to the prompt engineering. So people are very much still experimenting with this technology. So I would say in terms of priming prompts, etc., I'd say the jury's out on that one. I don't think there's any conclusive proof one way or other that it's better or worse. It's really about, you can try prompting, you try priming, and try modifying your actual prompts.
Thank you. And the next question, can GPT be used in an offline environment? If so, what is required to enable this to analyze large data sets?
I think, don't know whether John wants to take that one, but certainly I would say that in terms of large, it depends what you mean by GPT offline. Generative pre-trained transformers offline, yeah, you can. But if you want to look at GPT-4, I think GPT-4 cost in computing power around about 100 million to train, just 100 million to train. So if you have a few machines kicking around your offsite office, then perhaps you can go and pre-train something. But if you're looking for something at the power of GPT-4 or GPT 3.5, then they are huge systems. I don't know whether you'd agree, John, here in terms of that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, I think there's definitely an important distinction to be made between these kind of massive online models where you may be making inference calls, and for those it's just not feasible for the average business to be storing those offline. But there is obviously, those models tend to be quite generalized for what tasks they'll perform, as you've probably seen if you've tried ChatGPT and things. But if you're looking for a more niche use case where you've got your own data, you can potentially curate your own data, then bespoke models can be stored in a much smaller way in an offline fashion. So it just kind of depends what you're doing.
Our next question, we've got someone who is interested in finding out what AI to use, how to use it, when to use it, and what not to use.
Difficult one to, I think we probably would both, without putting words in John's mouth, I think we'd probably both say it really depends what your use case is, depends what you want to do. If you want to do, image process, for example, if you wanted to generate a customer service email, that's a completely different tool than perform, for example, number plate recognition. There are so many different use cases. And I think when John initially spoke, he talked about the pulling together different models. And I think what you begin to see is different models being put together into chains of kind of inference effectively. And I think having those tools and how to put those tools together and solve a particular problem is really the skill of analysing the process that you're looking for, and then having enough knowledge to look at the right tool for the right job. So it kind of feels like somebody saying, I'm doing some DIY this weekend, what tools do I need? It really depends on the task that you're about to do.
Next question, is anyone offering AI consultancy yet with integration and support?
Suppose I can answer that one as well. Yeah. I mean, it's what we do. You've heard what Liz was talking about there. I mean, we generally advise companies on the use of AI software systems in general, integrating these things into business processes. So yeah, there are people, ourselves included, who do this sort of work.
We're not going to have time for any more, so we'll end it there. But that concludes our webinar. Thanks again to our industry experts and to everyone who attended. If you've not already, please take a minute to join our LinkedIn community to keep up to date with our latest news and future events. As mentioned at the start, in the next few days, we'll reach out to get your feedback on the session and discuss available next steps on how AI can help support your organization with support from Pulsion. Thanks again and have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.